Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal Part 325 based on novel. So let's start. This silence was the same as when they said their goodbyes while flying away from Penglai. It had been 100 years, but this scene was still the same. Wang Lin was silent because he didn't know what to say. Whether it was because he had said it was best if they forgot each other, or how he had found Li Qianmei's bracelet, Wang Lin was unable to say a word. That bracelet had saved Wang Lin's life in the seven-colored realm. He would repay this kindness, but there were no special feelings in this repayment. His heart was already dead and could only hold Li Muwen. Unless it was when the world was destroyed, unless it was at the moment of death, perhaps he would choose a different path. However, right now he couldn't do it. Or to be more accurate, Li Qianmei hadn't really entered his heart. Wang Lin only admired Li Qianmei as a fellow cultivator. Only the appearance of the bracelet and the twist of fate had made this admiration a bit complicated. Wang Lin even felt that Li Qianmei's excellence shouldn't be displayed for him. They only knew each other through the 3 questions, and aside from that, they knew nothing of each other. They didn't have the several years spent in the Sea of Devils, the hundreds of years of waiting at the Cloud Sky Sect, no shock of dying of old age in the valley, and no music that accompanied Wang Lin for his 2,000 years of cultivation. There was also no painful roar from Wang Lin that shocked the world when the messenger of the heavens arrived. Even if the heavens want you to die, I'll take you back. This was a promise. This was Wang Lin's promise to a woman. That's why Wang Lin remained silent facing Li Qianmei. Wang Lin's heart felt complicated toward Li Qianmei. Li Qianmei bit her lower lip and said, "Can you sit with me for a while?" She was sitting on the grass in the courtyard. The moonlight fell on her, making her very beautiful and alluring. Wang Lin silently sat down beside Li Qianmei as he looked at the bright starlight in the night sky and the charming moonlight. As he sat there, the fragrance from Li Qianmei's body entered his nose, and he seemed to relax. "During these 100 years, were you well?" Li Qianmei lowered her head as her hands played with a blade of grass so it entangled her finger. Wang Lin softly said, "All right. Did you look at the painting?" Li Qianmei smiled as she looked at Wang Lin. There was a beautiful implication under her calmness. Wang Lin's gaze fell on Li Qianmei's face, then he quickly withdrew his gaze but didn't speak. "Thank you for your treasure. It accompanied me on the battlefield for these lonely 100 years. Li Qianmei softly said as she looked at Wang Lin. Wang Lin opened his mouth to say something, but in the end didn't say anything. "In a few days, I'll have to leave." Li Qianmei looked at Wang Lin. Her eyes seemed to be trembling, but her gaze was even more determined. She still looked at Wang Lin, but her fingers seemed to entangle even more grass. It was as if no matter what, her fingers didn't want to break free. Wang Lin silently pondered before saying, "I will send you off." Li Qianmei revealed a smile and winked. "I thought you had become a mute." Wang Lin bitterly smiled and silently shook his head. "You said you were going to send me off last time, but if I hadn't gone back to find you, you wouldn't have sent me off." Li Qianmei's eyes seemed to tremble even more, but she still looked at Wang Lin. Wang Ling avoided Li Qianmei's gaze as he looked ahead and whispered, "This time I'll send you off." There was bitterness on Li Qianmei's face. She looked at Wang Lin and felt like he was very far away. Even though he was right beside her, she felt like he was far away, so far that there was no force that could bring him closer. Just like a fish looking at the bird in the sky. It shed tears in the water, but the bird couldn't see. Because what separated them was the unbreakable surface of the water. If the bird happened to land beside the river and saw the fish in the water, it may pause for a moment while looking at the fish, but it would soon open its wings and leave. It would cause bitter ripples to echo across the surface of the water, affecting the fish's body. "After I leave this time, it will be a long time before I can come back. Or I might never come back," Li Qianmei whispered in Wang Lin's ear, making him even more silent. "I'm an orphan. Master picked me up. Going to the battlefield at the demon sect is my destiny. If I never come back. I hope you remember." Li Qianmei wrapped her fingers around the grass. Her fingers gently trembled, becoming entangled even tighter. She didn't tell Wang Lin that his figure had become even more clear in her heart. She didn't tell Wang Lin that she had risked her life while seriously injured to recover the golden pen. She didn't tell Wang Lin what kind of pressure she was bearing to come here. Her weak body couldn't bear this pressure. Only the dead could leave the battlefield at the demon sect. And she withstood the pressure of the heaven-breaking sect, the demon sect, and 100 years of battle, yet still decided to leave midway to meet someone that was far away from her. She also didn't tell him that because of her departure, there were many different voices of dissatisfaction in the heaven-breaking sect. There was also condemnation in the demon sect due to her departure. She also didn't tell Wang Lin that her departure meant that she had missed the chance to actually enter the demon sect and receive their teachings. She didn't say any of this, so Wang Lin wasn't aware. When I was little, I found out that I was different from others. My hair is blue, no one in the Cloud Sea has this hair color. I still remember how my playmates used to laugh at me when I was a child, Li Qianmai softly said with bitterness in her eyes as she recalled her childhood. I cultivated very hard, and teacher refined a lot of pills for me. With these pills, I was able to reach my current cultivation level. My cultivation was given to me by Master, by the heaven-breaking sect. I have to go to the battlefield, that is my destiny. Li Qianmai didn't loosen her hand that was entangled by the grass. Instead, she pulled up the grass so it was still entangled around her fingers. She stood up and moved her blue hair. She looked at Wang Lin and softly said, "If one day I'm no longer here, will you remember that in your life, there was a woman named Li Qianmai that quickly passed by?" Listening to this, Wang Lin felt a sting of pain in his heart. His face was slightly pale as he looked up at Li Qianmai and gently nodded. "I'll." Li Qianmai revealed a smile, but there was a hint of sadness in this smile. She looked at Wang Lin as if she wanted to completely engrave him in her memories, or completely erase him from her memories. There was a distance that was same as leaving and forgetting, it was immeasurable and just as far. Just like when the fish at the bottom of the lake saw the bird leaving. It struggled to jump out of the water so it would no longer be stopped by that barrier. However, it only got one glance before it fell back into the lake. Wang Lin looked at Li Qianmai, and the bitterness in his heart became even stronger. He faintly remembered back when he opened the heaven-defying beads gate and stepped inside. It was as if he had seen his previous life. At the end, he saw himself become a bird. In his blurry memory, he seemed to remember that as a bird, he was once attracted by a bright-colored fish in the lake. He landed next to the lake and carefully looked at that fish. At that moment, the fish in the lake also looked at him. Accompanied by the moonlight, Li Qianmei's sigh was like a gentle wind. It diffused across the courtyard and gradually disappeared with her figure. Looking at Li Qianmei's back under the moonlight, Wang Lin softly said, "Thank you." "Why are you thanking me?" Li Qianmai stopped and turned around to look at Wang Lin. Her expression was still calm. Wang Lin silently pondered for a while before waving his right hand, and a bracelet appeared. "It saved my life once." The moment she saw the bracelet, the serenity that she used to mask herself collapsed. She looked at the bracelet, stunned, and gradually revealed a smile. At this moment, she became dazzlingly beautiful. Li Qianmai blinked and softly said, "I remember. I threw it away. I accidentally picked it up later." Wang Lin's expression became a bit strange. Even he himself couldn't believe it when he said it. "Oh, so you accidentally picked it up." There was a smile in Li Qianmei's gaze as she nodded. "I'm giving it back to you." Wang Lin knew that Li Qianmai had misunderstood him, but this was a misunderstanding that was difficult to explain. Wang Lin got up, holding the bracelet, trying to return it to Li Qianmai. "You picked it up. If you give it back to me, I'll throw it away again." The smile in her face became even wider as she carefully looked at Wang Lin and left. "Remember, you promised me that you would send me off." Li Qianmei's words gently arrived. Her body gradually disappeared into the moonlight as she returned to her room in the courtyard. Holding the bracelet, Wang Lin let out sight. After a long time, he put it away, and his gaze fell outside the courtyard. There was another woman standing there. This woman was an absolute beauty, and she was also looking at Wang Lin. She looked bleak and lonely under the moonlight, and they stared at each other. This stare made it feel as if they had returned back to planet Suzaku and back to the Hungyu sect. when a woman named Liu Mai, who was born with a water spirit root, looked into the crowd and saw a youth named Wang Lin. Wang Lin and Mu Bingmei's gazes met across the open courtyard door. This door was like an uncrossable gully, and the two of them became silent under the moonlight. This silence was different from when he was with Li Qianmai, but he didn't exactly know what the difference was. It seemed that in Wang Lin's life, aside from Li Muwen, there would also be someone called Liu Mai or Mu Bingmei accompanying him. Planet Suzaku was like this. All heaven was like this. Now, in the cloud sea, it was still like this. Under this silence, Mu Bingmei lowered her head and slowly walked forward. She stepped through the door and entered the courtyard, stopping 10 feet from Wang Lin. I didn't expect to meet you here. Mu Bingmei raised her head to look at the night sky. Her voice was a bit hoarse. Wang Lin withdrew his gaze from Mu Bingmei, and his gaze was calm. The complicated feelings from the past were gone, as if he was looking at was an estranged friend. Wang Lin calmly said, "Many things in this world are difficult to predict." Mu Bingmei's beautiful face displayed a dazzling beauty under the moonlight. This beauty contained a noble temperament, and it was an aura she naturally had from being the brilliant Void Saintess for many years. No women Wang Lin had met in his life could compare to Mu Bingmei. She was like a fairy that shouldn't exist in the world that had accidentally descended on this world. Difficult to predict, there was a hint of bitterness on Mu Bingmei's face. "Why did you come to the Cloud Sea?" Wang Lin looked at Mu Bingmei. Although she had brought him endless pain, she had deeply imprinted herself in his mind. He could never completely forget about her. However, Liu Mai belonged to this woman, and Liu Mai continued on with her. Sometimes even Wang Lin couldn't tell if she was Liu Mai or Mu Bingmei. However, none of this was important. When Wang Lin left the Alliance star system, he had ended all feuds with this woman. Even if that wind returned, it could never affect his heart. "Do you know a person called Tuo Sen? An ancient god?" Mu Bingmei looked at Wang Lin. There was a hint of bitterness and also a deep sense of worry in her eyes. "Tuo Sen." Wang Lin's eyes suddenly changed, showing a hint of coldness. "He escaped. All Heaven's army collapsed. He killed countless cultivators, and they had to retreat back to All Heaven. They no longer dared to enter the Alliance. All Heaven had a powerful cultivator named Master Lu Fu. He avoided the Alliance star system and didn't dare to fight Tuo Sen." Mu Bingmei's words were calm, but the contents shocked Wang Lin. Wang Lin took a deep breath as the aura inside him condensed. He was like a volcano ready to explode. However, Mu Bingmei's words didn't end. She hadn't finished telling Wang Lin all the news. The corpse sect's domain was found by Tuo Senator. The king of the corpse sect fell, with countless dead and injured. The corpse sect almost fell apart. The Four Divine sect suffered countless deaths under Tuo Sen's advance. Although the Azure Dragon Divine Emperor's cultivation is heavenly, he was still no match. Whether he is dead or alive is unknown. All remnants of the Cultivation Alliance were destroyed and scattered by Tuo Sen. Only the Alliance headquarters for some reason didn't attract Tuo Sen and remained safe. Wang Lin's pupils shrank. The shock the news brought him was too big. It was like a carriage weighing tons charging straight at him. He didn't think Tuo Sen's awakening would set off such a storm in the Alliance. The Rain Celestial realm you cared the most about wasn't damaged. Tuo Sen did go, but he was stopped outside by Qin Lin. They seemed to come upon an agreement and then Tuo Sen left. Mu Bingmei bit her lower lip as she spoke. "You were right. If Yue had chosen to stay with me, with her cultivation level, it would have been difficult for her to escape alive. The brilliant void realm no longer exists. All the cultivators inside died in battle. Even the guardian died to Tuo Sen in exchange for a chance of me escaping. My body collapsed. What you see now is one I just reformed recently. My cultivation level has dropped greatly. If I want to return to my peak, it will take time." The waves in Wang Lin's mind finally calmed down. He had already been mentally prepared for Tuo Sen's appearance. However, hearing Mu Bingmei's words, he was still shocked. "As the brilliant Void Saintess, I have the inheritance of the brilliant Void realm. Tens of thousands of years ago, a previous brilliant Void Saintess saved the head elder of the God sect. The head elder owes us a favor, so I used a secret technique to flee here. I want to go to the God sect and use their power to help me recover. Mu Bingmei's voice was low when her voice suddenly trembled. What caused her body to tremble was Wang Lin. Wang Lin walked forward and closed in on Mu Bingmei. His finger formed a sword and moved like lightning, targeting the area between her eyebrows. Mu Bingmei didn't dodge. After a moment of being startled, her face became deathly pale. She seemed to remember something but wasn't sure as she allowed Wang Lin's fingers to land between her eyebrows. Mu Bingmei's mind rumbled like crazy, and in a moment, an aura rapidly rotated between her eyebrows. A dense ancient god aura came out from this vortex. This aura was very strong. Outsiders couldn't detect it, but Wang Lin could clearly feel it. His expression was gloomy as he looked up at the sky. No one knew what he was thinking. Mu Bingmei's face was bloodless as she stood there startled. Her face was filled with sadness as she retreated a few steps. It was as if she had lost all strength. Sorry. Mu Bingmei bit her lip as 2 lines of crystal tears fell down the corners of her eyes. In the end she was still a woman. Her original intent was to tell Wang Lin everything so he could be prepared. She was worried about Wang Lin's safety. She wanted him to know all of this so he could quickly leave. Her intentions were good. After I arrived at the Cloud Sea, I checked my body and origin soul many times without discovering anything. This body was just formed, and I checked every inch of my origin soul. Wang Lin lowered his head. When he saw Mu Bingmei's pale and crying face and the remorse in her eyes, he let out a sigh and softly said, "It's all right. This matter has nothing to do with you. I personally saw All Heaven's third-step cultivator, Master Lu Fu, get defeated and almost die. With Tuor Sen's strength, if he wanted to leave an imprint on you that you couldn't detect, you wouldn't be able to find it." Wang Lin's voice was soft. He naturally saw Mu Bingmei's good intentions. Mu Bingmei didn't expect the result to be like this. Her face was deathly pale. Besides, since Tuor Sen left the ancient god imprint on you, it is same as sending me some tonic. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and his right hand reached at Mu Bingmei. The ancient god auras attracted each other and the imprint flew at Wang Lin. When it got close to Wang Lin, stars appeared between his eyebrows. The imprint was then absorbed into the 6th star. In his mind, Tuor Sen suddenly appeared and roared, but Wang Lin's ancient god body immediately appeared. This was a devour and an absorption. Although Tuor Sen was strong, he hadn't left much aura on Mu Bingmei. A moment later, Wang Lin absorbed it, and it unexpectedly made his 6th star even more stable. Before he left the Alliance, he shouted your name, looking for you. He even came to the Cloud Sea but couldn't find you. Mu Bingmei took a deep breath. Her eyes were filled with guilt. Wang Lin's expression suddenly changed as he looked at Mu Bingmei and said, "Do you know when he came to the Cloud Sea?" Mu Bingmei pondered a bit and softly said, "I don't know the exact time. I was in closed-door cultivation, recovering my body, but it shouldn't have been more than 100 years. 100 years. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he began to ponder. Wang Lin had spent most of the past 100 years in that strange place. He was vaguely aware that his location was similar to the Sealed Realm formation. Tuor Sen must have not found my aura in the Sealed Realm. If I were him, I would wonder if I left the Sealed Realm. And at that time, I was at a place related to the Sealed Realm formation. When Tuor Sen tried to break through, he noticed my aura. As a result, Wang Lin's expression became strange. If Tuor Sen was still in the Sealed Realm, there would be no way he hadn't come looking for me, since I had already left the 7-colored realm for several months. So far, he still hasn't come. So, I can almost conclude that Tuor Sen used some unknown method to enter the outer realm. Just as Wang Lin figured out what happened, an angry roar echoed throughout the ancient star system. There was a giant ancient god charging out from an ancient clan while roaring angrily. Behind him was a bloody mess. This was already the 9th ancient clan he had destroyed. He still wasn't able to find a trace of Wang Lin in the ancient star system, which made Tuor Sen almost crazy. However, just a moment after he destroyed this clan, his mind trembled. He clearly felt the imprint he had left on the brilliant Void Saintess detect Wang Lin's aura. This discovery made Tuo Sen's expression ugly, and a storm erupted in his body. "You're in the sealed realm. How could you be in the sealed realm? I clearly searched there countless times." Tuo Sen roared like crazy, but right now he didn't have the strength to break through the sealed realm formation again anytime soon. Mu Bingmai left. She had come to tell Wang Lin what happened in the alliance. There was no other talk between them. It was as if he didn't want to mention it and she didn't want to talk about it. Before she left, Mu Bingmei's figure under the moonlight stopped outside the courtyard. She paused for a moment and didn't turn around but whispered something. "Li Qianmai is pretty good. However, you still can't forget little sister Wn. I believe that if little sister Wn woke up, she wouldn't want to see you be lonely for thousands of years. I don't want to see you like this either. After today, I'll head to the God sect to recover and probably won't leave closed-door cultivation for 1,000 years. I don't know if we will meet again in 1,000 years. However, Wang Lin, I have something I want to say to you. I'm Liu Mai, Wang Ping's mother. When I unshackle myself from the brilliant void realm, I'll accompany Wang Ping through countless reincarnation cycles and be a real mother," Mu Bingmai muttered as she gradually walked away. Her Dao heart gradually moved toward completion after she spoke these words. 1,000 illusion ruthless domain. 10,000 illusion demon domain. In the end, it slowly changed. Among the brilliant void saintesses, only one person had ever succeeded in the spell inherited by the brilliant void saintess, and everyone else failed. Mu Bingmai had taken a shortcut by using avatars but failed with Liu Mai. Her Dao heart was incomplete and thus a crack appeared on the strongest spell of the brilliant void realm. This crack was Liu Mai, also Wang Lin, but more so Wang Ping. However, at this moment, as Mu Bingmai had experienced everything so far, she no longer avoided that crack. She chose to face it, to accept it. It was due to this change that her Dao began to show signs of completion. Ruthlessness and affection were two sides of the same coin. Cultivation. If one uses the ruthlessness of the heavens to cultivate Dao, the final result won't be good enough to be called Dao. When a cultivator had a hint of affection, they would be able to use it to defy Dao. This allowed the cultivator to have something precious to guard, so they would be willing to struggle against the world. The crack on Mu Bingmei's Dao heart already contained Wang Lin's figure. As her way of thinking changed and her Dao gradually recovered, his figure became an imprint under her ruthless domain. Taking this imprint, her Dao had entered the path to completion. Inside the courtyard, under the moonlight, there were fragrances of two different women that had accompanied Wang Lin. He stood there under the moonlight, pondering for a long time. Time slowly passed. In the blink of an eye, several days went by. The competition between the rank 8 sects was approaching, and it was time to depart. Mu Bingmai left the everlasting sect with Wang Shanshan. Wang Shanshan received word from her teacher to quickly return to the God sect. The everlasting sect naturally didn't dare to stop them. Before they left, Mu Bingmai didn't turn around. She was proud. She was the brilliant void saintess. The brilliant void realm was destroyed, leaving only her. From this moment on, she no longer belonged to herself. It was her responsibility to cultivate to restore the brilliant void realm, to fulfill the responsibility of the brilliant void saintess. This was a responsibility she had avoided for a long time, but now she chose to confront it and would no longer run away. Her conversation with Wang Lin had resolved the disturbance in her heart. She buried that memory deep within her heart and sealed it. Li Qianmai was also going to leave. She had received an urgent call from her master to return. The jade didn't include what happened, but with harsh words, he ordered Li Qianmai to use the everlasting sect's transfer array to return to the heaven-breaking sect. It felt like something hidden was moving. Li Qianmai couldn't disobey her teacher's words. The heaven-breaking sect had given her everything and her teacher had raised her. Although her teacher didn't say the reason, she had never seen such stern words from him. She only had time to say goodbye before entering the transfer array of the everlasting sect. After being transferred several times, she went to the heaven-breaking sect. Her heart was confused. She didn't know why her teacher had sent out such an anxious order. In her memory, Her teacher had always been calm and had never been like this. She didn't know why, but she had a feeling that something bad was going to happen. After Mu Bingmai and Li Qianmai left, Wang Lin left the Everlasting Sect with the sect master and high elders. They headed to the location of the competition between the rank 8 sects. That was the real main event. The Everlasting Sect's sect master was very confident in this battle. He believed that the other rank 8 sects would without a doubt lose and the Everlasting Sect would become number 1, because with Wang Lin's arrival, the competition was no longer balanced. The Everlasting Sect had an overwhelming advantage. In the eyes of the sect master and high elders, the battle was no longer important, it was all about the expressions of shock on the rest of the rank 8 sects once the battle was over. However, just like what Wang Lin and Mu Bingmai said, the world was unpredictable. Half an hour before the Everlasting Sect was going to leave, a ray of light shot out from the Everlasting Sect. This ray of light contained a heaven-shaking aura, and it shot straight toward the sect master. There was an old man inside the ray of light. Wang Lin hadn't seen this old man before, but from the halo coming from his body, he was also someone at the Heaven's Blight stage. This old man's expression was very gloomy, and without a word, he threw a jade at the sect master. The sect master frowned as he caught the jade. After his divine sense scanned the jade, his expression changed greatly. Then his expression became gloomy and popping sounds came from his body. His anger had reached a limit. He let out a cold snort and handed the jade to the 2 high elders beside him. After the 2 higher elders checked it, their expressions became gloomy. It seemed like the entire sky had darkened. The high elder that fought with Wang Lin clenched his teeth and roared like the cold wind, "What arrogance from the God Sect!" With one word from the God Sect, the grand competition that has existed among the rank 8 sects for tens of thousands of years was cancelled. I wonder what made the God Sect go crazy to cancel the rank 8 sect competition. My Everlasting Sect has prepared for many years for this competition, and now, with fellow cultivator Lu here, we could have easily taken first place. We could have swept away all the shame from the previous competitions. What right does the God Sect have to cancel it? Another high elder sneered and revealed anger in his eyes. However, a sense of unwillingness and being wronged outweighed that anger. They were all powerful cultivators, and the Everlasting Sect wasn't a small sect. However, with just one jade from the God Sect, they had to accept this humiliation. The sect master silently pondered for a very long time and suddenly became tired. He let out a sigh and shook his head. Since the God Sect has passed down the order to cancel the competition, they must have their reasons. Only, the reason is not known to us. While feeling bitter, the sect master looked at Wang Lin and clasped his hands. Fellow cultivator Lu, the rank 8 competition has been cancelled by the God Sect. I must discuss this with rest of the elders. How about you take the Origin Sect back to the rank 5 region and prepare them to be moved to the rank 7 region? Wang Lin's expression was calm, but he felt a sense of fear, as if some heavening shaking matter was descending. He pondered for a bit before his eyes lit up and he said, "Can I look at the jade from the God Sect?" The high elder holding the jade waved his right hand and it flew toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin caught it and scanned it with his divine sense. There was only one line inside the jade. There is no need to continue the rank 8 sect competition. It concludes now. God Sect Jade. The moment Wang Lin's divine sense spread through it, he felt an indescribable power rush out from these words. It seemed to form a large handprint. Wang Lin was shocked, and he withdrew his divine sense. He returned the jade to the Everlasting Sect before clasping his hands and leaving. The Everlasting Sect members all had complicated feelings. Many were angry, but they were helpless and could only accept it. Li Qianmai accepted the heaven-breaking sect summon and quickly left. Mu Bingmai and Wang Shanshan were called back, but they don't know the reason. These things alone aren't suspicious, but the rank 8 sect competition being cancelled at the same time by the God Sect. All of this is too strange. Could it be that something big is going to happen in the Cloud Sea? Wang Lin frowned and was very puzzled. While pondering, he quickly returned to where the Origin Sect was and summoned Lu Yanfei and the others. They immediately packed up and used the transfer array to return to the continent of Mo Luo in the rank 5 region. Wang Lin vaguely felt like something bad was going to happen. This terrifying feeling was getting stronger and stronger. Even when he tried to cultivate, he couldn't calm himself down. Quickly, sort out the matters of the origin sect. I'll take you all to the rank 7 region in 3 days, then I'll leave. After he returned, he gave out the order and then immediately entered closed-door cultivation. His origin soul quickly entered the celestial sealing stamp and fused with the All-Seer's soul. This time, he fused with the All-Seer not to fight an enemy, but to borrow All-Seer's power to forcibly predict the unknown. At the same time, in the rank 9 heaven-breaking sect, the moment Li Qianmai returned to the sect, her expression changed greatly. Her serenity completely disappeared due to the shock of what she saw. 3 of the 10 high elders were sitting around the transfer formation Li Qianmai had appeared in. The transfer array no longer had the ability to transfer, it was now a sealing formation. Her teacher had left his almost perpetual closed-door cultivation and was sitting outside the formation. The moment Li Qianmai appeared, his eyes lit up and he stared at Li Qianmai. You're not allowed to step outside this formation for 3 months. Otherwise, you will be punished in accordance to the sect's rules. This video will end here.